winter is coming, winter is coming. He was determined. There was something different about it. When he hopped on stage, it was game over. That was one of the most interesting battles we've done because Aaron Banks was the men's physique reigning champion. And he came in, I remember him arriving at the hotel. He was laid back.
Athletes and fans around the world, buckle up. It's time for another episode of Prime Time Muscle. I'm Tim Wilkins. Always great to have Jeremy Buendia with us.
We're back. I'm excited to be here.
You are so back, and you have been pushing the envelope with Tarek Elgindi.
Yeah, Jeremy has been challenging me. He's been attacking me. But I'm up to the challenge. You know, it's been kind of boring to just tear down whoever sits across from me. He gained some experience, which makes it entertaining, you know. I don't like to just massacre my opponents. At some point, I want to be entertained too.
So you kind of play with them like a bear.
I play with them, yeah. I let them play. I let them have fun. I let them attack me. I allow them to feel confident, and then I smash them to the ground and spoon their freaking soul.
He wants to spoon with you. All right.
That's what I got out of that too.
That's what I got out of it.
Yeah.
All right. We've got a great show for you. Guys, so the Olympia pay-per-view was always a blast to do with various people we've had over the years. 2020, the year after Brandon Curry won, we were wondering what was going to happen, and the Olympia press conference has been one of my favorites since the first time I saw it in 1999. And I was the MC for a couple of years back in the 90s, 2000s. We had the last year of the UN-style format where representatives from each of the divisions was there and ready to go, and Big Ramy is there. And we're a sport where when you add the word big to an open bodybuilder, it means something.
You gotta be big.
And they asked Ramy a question. He's learning the language, but he learned it well in one phrase. He looked into the camera, into the crowd, grabbed the mic, and he said, "Winter is coming." And everybody went, oh, okay. He meant it.
He meant it.
He got on stage, and he was dominant. He was massive. He hit that side chest, and from the hang of his hamstrings to the top of his quads was just massive.
Yeah, so Big Ramy, he came to the scene after winning the New York Pro in 2013. 2013 or 14? I think 2013. I'll double check right here.
You're rarely wrong. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, 2013. That was his first one, and he actually won in 2014. But that was Victor Martinez's show to win. Victor had placed second at the Olympia to Jay Cutler. He was recovering. He was coming back. He was having his second win. And here comes this huge Egyptian bodybuilder, massive, with a small waist. He shocked the New York Pro, and he defeated Victor Martinez. He came back the following year, and he won that show again. He had some good showings at the Olympia. At one point, he placed second to Phil Heath. He was massive. A lot of people said he still needs to come in condition, tighten up. A lot of people thought he would have beaten Phil Heath in that Olympia because he did have some good poses against Phil. But by the time he won in 2020, Ramy was kind of the guy that had underachieved based on his potential. People were looking at him like, yeah, you're huge, you're massive, you have all these amazing body parts, but you have not won the big one. Brandon Curry was the champion. We're in COVID era, and he comes out of the gate like a freaking monster. You could tell at that press conference, like you mentioned, winter is coming. Winter is coming. He was determined. There was something different about it. When he hopped on stage, it was game over.
Massive. But
Huge.
Conditioned, shaped. Then the next year, we had a bit more of a repeat performance. Some parts better conditioning, some parts not. And then that next year, 5th or 7th, it was a big fall. 5th.
He wins the 2020 Mr. Olympia convincingly. He comes back in 2021, wins again. a lot of people feel like this might be the beginning of a dynasty. When he comes in to the 2022 Mr. Olympia, the one that Hadi Choopan won and he placed 5th, never had a Mr. Olympia fallen so hard. The issue was when he turned to the back and he hit his back double biceps, the lats didn't come out. You're a bodybuilder, you're a Mr. Olympia, everybody knows how to hit your back double biceps. You just don't open your back double biceps if you have an injury. That's the only case that I can see it. He couldn't really connect and open the lat and hit his back double biceps. I remember sitting there as a judge going, what in the world is going on here? I have never experienced this at a pro show with open bodybuilder, that a bodybuilder cannot open his lat on. It was like he was squeezing the whole time. So at that point, we knew something was wrong with Big Ramy. Something on his back, some nerve damage, it wasn't connecting. And obviously he fell to 5th place. There was hope that he was going to come back. He had a comeback at the Arnold. He wasn't 100%. But once we didn't see him for a couple of years, I knew he was gone. His legacy will be undeniable. We've had great Egyptian bodybuilders, right? We've had Mohammed Makawi. We've had a lot of great bodybuilders coming from that place. But Big Ramy was the one that fulfilled his promise of winning the Mr. Olympia. And he was one of the nicest human beings. At the gala, once he won the first time, he had also won the most popular award. What is that award called? The People's Champ.
People's Champ.
And he's at the podium with that big belt, beautiful belt. And one of these kids, it wasn't at the gala, it was at the seminar. One of these kids asked him a question, and then he finishes with, you know what, I'm probably your biggest fan. And Big Ramy stands up, goes around, and gives this kid his belt, the People's Champion belt. And the entire audience melts just by the heart that this guy has. Yeah. I loved Big Ramy as a Mr. Olympia. I wish he could have won more titles. Unfortunately, the nerve damage prevented him from doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Big Ramy for a long, long time. I remember going out to Kuwait in 2016, and he barely spoke a lick of English. I remember seeing, he showed up at the hotel I was at, and he goes, Jeremy, why are you staying at this hotel? He goes, next time you come to Kuwait, you stay at my house, my wife will cook for you. I just thought that was the nicest thing. Every interaction I've ever had with Ramy, he's been so genuine. It doesn't matter how long his line is at the expos. If I walk by and I pop my head and he'll stop his line, tell me to come up, say hello to him, takes his time with me. He's just a genuine human being, and I'm so happy for the success that he's had in this industry. I know how much pride the Middle East has taken in him, especially Egypt. You know, him training out of Kuwait all those years. You know, I had the opportunity to go out there and train with him a little bit at Oxygen Gym. He's just a good guy, you know, and to see where he's come from and to see the evolution of his physique over the last 15 years. I mean, Big Ramy wasn't always Big Ramy. You know, he transformed into Big Ramy. And it's a physique that is going to go down in the books forever on the Olympia stage. He's just one of those mass monsters that we'll never forget.
So funny you should say the reception he got, because I had never seen that as a fan of the sport for 35 years at the time. When he went back to Egypt after that win, the mob at the airport, the people that were going ballistic, carrying him out, tens of thousands of people in the streets. It was just magical to watch.
And it's how mainstream he is in Egypt, too. You know, I have a guy in my town that does some t-shirt printing for me. And I walk in, and he was like, you know, asked him some questions. Are you a bodybuilder? I'm like, yeah. I was like, actually, I'm friends with Egypt's #1 bodybuilder. He goes, who, Big Ramy? You know Big Ramy? I was like, yeah, you follow the sport? He goes, no, but everybody knows Big Ramy.
I had that happen in a cab twice in 2 different cities where the guy was Egyptian. And he said, you're a bodybuilder. You know Big Ramy?
Yeah.
I said, yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you know, Jeremy brings up a good point. He wasn't Big Ramy at the beginning of his career. I have heard this story that he worked at Oxygen Gym re-racking the weights. That was his job. And people started noticing that he was a big guy, and then they started investing in him. It turned out he responded in a way that we've never seen before. I got to give credit to Dennis James, because Dennis James was his coach for a long time. He had monster legs, humongous legs. He had some body parts that were just freaky. He's going to be remembered as one of the biggest bodybuilders. He put on the heat on Phil Heath in one of those years. And it's sad that we saw him leave the stage with a major injury, but I'll never forget how kind, how charismatic. And like you said in the beginning of the segment, Timothy Wilkins, who can forget him at that press conference looking straight at the camera and saying, winter is coming. And God, man, winter arrived.
So, as just kind of a PSA for gym owners and for young guys out there, even old guys, because I watch you, Ramy started out putting weights away, and he got that big. Re-rack your weights. You want to get big? Put your stuff away. It's interesting you bring this up as a topic because he's another one the last 3 or 4 years that's been teasing a comeback. I know he had that nerve injury. I think he was going through stem cell and working through it, and there's been a couple times where he said, I'm coming back. And I kind of hoped he would.
I'm going to tell you this. Every time somebody kind of ends his career with an injury and they try to come back, he almost never really worked out. Never. I mean, if you look at Phil Heath, he tried to come back. He wasn't the same bodybuilder.
After the hernia.
Yeah. Big Ramy wasn't the same bodybuilder.
Dorian, after the bicep tear.
Didn't come back, right? He didn't come back. I think mentally you don't feel as strong, right? You just kind of go like, oh, I have this injury. Second, now the whole world knows your body, right? If Big Ramy came in to compete again, I mean, everybody would be waiting for that back double biceps and back lat spread. We've seen some of the greatest bodybuilders of all times end their career because of an injury. Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, Phil Heath, Dorian Yates. Big Ramy is no different. I think once you have an injury, it's your body telling you, it's over, man. I gave all I can. The ligaments, the joints, they can no longer handle this pounding. Charles Barkley said once on Inside the NBA, one of the best shows, he says, old people don't get better, they just get older. And I agree with him.
Sadly, I agree too. I'll tell you, you said the body takes a pounding. You know what I like to pound right about now? One of those linear bars. Our new sponsor who has brought us a decadent, completely organic 20-gram protein bar with a lot of great flavors. You'll find out about those on their Instagram. And you'll know when you eat them, there's something good for you as well because you've got no seed oils, no artificial ingredients, just good for you things that they put together to make the best tasting, best for you bar on the market. Check that out at Linear Bar. And we've got more Primetime Muscle when we come back. The best Olympia battles and rivalries. Tarek came up with this 3 or 4 years ago, and it was genius. And the fans love it. Tarek loves doing it because he loves, he already loves stirring the pot with people, but getting them in the gym and having them go at it is a blast. So we're going to talk about that and much more when we come back on Primetime Muscle.
It was a world ruled by dirty fuel. The universe demanded more, so we built the bar your body deserves. 20 grams organic whey protein, no seed oils, no sucralose, no compromises, ever. Linear, a higher bar.
If you haven't seen them, they live on Olympia TV, do they not, Tarek?
Yes, Olympia Battle, there's a category right there. You click on Olympia Battles and you get to see all the battles we've done.
So the battles are, and this was Tarek's brainchild, where you take the best of a couple of guys from their division. So one was Jeremy and Aaron Banks. Get them in the gym, just let them duke it out. And they push each other. There's camaraderie, there's rivalry. And it just brings out, I think it brings out the best in that division for that day. And it gives the fans a chance to see you guys not just train, but train with someone that you're a rival with, pushing each other.
No, yeah, it was a great experience. I had the opportunity of doing that in 2023. That was my comeback year. And that meant a lot to me because Aaron was a reigning champ at that time. And, you know, a lot of people had written me off as a thing of the past. So I knew going into this Olympia battle, I think it was like 8 or 10 weeks out from the Olympia, I knew that this was going to be a statement for myself, whether people were going to take me seriously or not. So I knew I had to come into this battle prepared. And I prepped for about 6 weeks, got myself in presentable shape, and I came in and I put people on notice that I wasn't just coming back to come back, I was coming back to be a competitor. And at that Olympia battle, I think we did a voting online, and I definitely won that battle that day.
A thing of the past at 34. That's
No,
I'm not putting up with that.
I gotta tell you, that was one of the most interesting battles we've done, because Aaron Banks was the men's physique reigning champion, and he came in. I remember him arriving at the hotel. He was laid back. He was chill. He was like, "Man, I'm here to have fun and this and that." And I'm thinking to my mind, Jeremy Buendia is not coming here laid back, you know, that's not part of his personality. Jeremy is coming to prove something, you know. Jeremy Buendia, he takes his kids to the park. He's not laid back, you know what I mean? He's intense. And I knew that the intensities did not match, that Jeremy was in a different state of mind. Sure enough, the workout starts and Jeremy is on fire. He's like, dude, I'm coming in to expose you, right? And then in the middle of the workout, Jeremy takes off his shirt. And you can just see the comments, right? You know, Jeremy's killing it. Jeremy this and that. And I think Aaron Banks at some point looked, man, I kind of got ambushed here. I came in thinking this was a party, a celebration. And all of a sudden, I'm getting ambushed by a competitor that has won the Olympia, came in, took off his shirt, and the comments. And I saw that with Chris Bumstead. When Chris Bumstead, we did Olympia battle with Ramon, Wesley Vissers, and Urs Kalaczynski.
Yeah.
Chris Bumstead was quiet and observant. Ramon had just competed, Wesley Vissers had just competed, and Urs Kalaczynski was kind of like joking around, having fun. And then Chris Bumstead, without telling anybody, grabs the 140 dumbbell and he goes for a chest, right? And I could just see the tension of the other guys, like, F this guy, he's trying to expose us because we've been dieting the whole time. He lifts heavy, he's in off season, he's grabbing the 140 pounds to show off to everybody on camera that we can't do this way.
There was something in between there, though, that was magical also, because you don't just grab the 140s. So the set before was the 110s, which already set everybody off like, oh, I see what we're doing. We're going to the 100s. Ramon Dino grabs the 110s and does a couple of reps of hammer curls with them, just to say, oh, I've done these before. I usually curl these.
And that is the principle of Olympia Battle. Nick Walker can work out at his own gym. Samson Dauda can work out at his own gym. And they can document through social media what they're doing. But there's no tension. They don't have somebody that can challenge them on a workout. I wanted to have the public picking their favorite. I wanted the competitors to go, I'm going to lift heavier than him. I look better than him. We have a short video on YouTube that now has surpassed 12 million views, which is Samson Dauda taking off his shirt in front of Nick Walker and Derek Lunsford saying, there's some British beef right here, you know? And that's him sending a message to Derek and Nick. I'm coming to win the Olympia. Coincidentally, he did win the Olympia on that year. I love these battles. There's always tension. I want to bring the best of the best to compete. And, you know, right now, Tim, you know, we have sponsors. You know, we do it at New Tech Gym. Nebbia is a sponsor. Wolfpack. People pay us thousands of dollars to do it at their gyms. It looks to be a successful program.
So one of my other favorites, and you know this by now, Tarek likes to stir the pot. And one of those was, and you couldn't get away with it because you got to honor the division of women's physique. And it was at the height of the rivalry. And he brings in Sarah Villegas and Natalia Coelho. And it didn't need a trainer. It needed a mediator, a therapist. It was tense.
You know, you could tell the tension because right outside the studio right here, Natalia Coelho's mom is outside. Sarah Villegas' husband is outside. There is some tension. And we had a round table with Dennis James. And Dennis James is a freaking master, you know. Listen, Dennis was a great bodybuilder. He might be even better entertainer. And he's asking questions to them. And the tension is real. You know, Sarah is saying, you said this about me. And Natalia is saying, you said this about me. This was probably one of the only battles that I completely retrieved. I said, they don't need any more. They already have it all, you know. I love these battles. I've been inspired by the magazines, Tim. You know, Muscular Development, Flex, they had the workout combined guys, right? They would get the two guys working out. And as a teenager, I would flip through those magazines and compare. I'm like, oh man, Johnny Jackson might be bigger than Branch Warren, right? They would have those black and white workouts. And I'm like, now with social media, nobody's doing it together anymore. There's no tension. How can we relive here? And that was the purpose of it.
No, and I wanted to see, I don't know if you saw this one, Jeremy. One of my other favorites was Keon Pearson and Sean Clarita.
Yeah.
And the shirts weren't coming off. And they had veins coming. One of them was wearing a flannel shirt underneath his Olympia Battle shirt. There were veins under flannel. And they just trained so hard. They broke a couple machines. They kept moving the pin. And it was a war. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was because I think Keon Pearson noticed that Sean Clarita was ahead of him on conditioning. And it was kind of getting close to the Olympia. It was about 2 months. And Sean had lost to Keon. And it just looked like Sean Clarita was more of a crazy state of mind than Keon. And once Keon realized, you know, he's getting more attention than me. I can see people talking about Sean Clarita. They're not talking about me. I think that kind of turned on Keon Pearson saying, shit, I might be behind here, you know. He started working out with more intensity. I think he squeezed his diet. That was a great Olympia battle. I also loved the women's bodybuilding that we did over at
Pro Physiques?
No, we had one at Fitness One Gym, and these girls were lifting heavy freaking weights, bro. They're doing 70, 80-pound chest press. And I'm looking around going, dude, that's very heavy. And that was the one, surprisingly enough, that had more crowd. People that love women's bodybuilding is a cult. They go everywhere. And that was the one that had more of an audience presence than any other.
That was Andrea Shaw and
Natalia Kovaleva and Angela Yo.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
a good
intense. The trainers have become a little bit part of the whole Olympia battle.
Linda and Chris.
Yeah. Now, you know, we've had Milo Sarcev. He was great. Chris again. People now come to me and ask me, can I be a trainer for Olympia Battle? And I'm like, I got to be honest. I just want the iconic people, you know. If you're one of these new coaches, you have no chance. You got to be an icon to be a trainer of those guys.
No, I agree. Yeah, absolutely. There's got to be some experience, especially when you're working with the top Olympians. You can have some new guy coming in trying to tell these guys how to train.
Yeah.
That's really something to think about. Well, I encourage everybody to go to Olympia TV, to Olympia Battles, and if you haven't already watched them, get caught up because they're great entertainment. They were a lot of fun to be in the room with those guys. That was a lot of fun. And if you have seen them, and once you've seen them, go back on our site, tell us who your favorites are, and tell us who you thought trained really, really hard.
Yeah, let us know your favorite battle. Was Jeremy versus Aaron Banks your favorite battle? Was Chris Bumstead the first one versus Ramon? 15,000 people watching it live. Your favorite battle? Andrew Jack and Derek Lunsford, it got intense. Tell us your favorite Olympia battle.
You did a great one with the fitness competitors as well after Wings of Strength.
Yeah, we did it on stage. It was a NPC show, and we had Whitney Jones versus Predator,
Was it Missy?
Missy Truscott, and we had Michelle Verdua versus Taylor Learmont.
Yeah, so that was a good one.
And the TV they have come to cover, right? Family channel, Family 3 channel.
In
What is the
Arizona,
channel?
yeah.
Arizona Family Channel. They come to cover. And in Las Vegas, we had CBS covering it. How awesome is that, guys? Come on.
Well, always fun, always a good time. Let's talk about Global Formulas. We can't do the show without him. Our good friend Jacob Frank and all the stuff he has going on. Derek, one of my favorites is the pre-workout series that he's got. He's got Pumped, which is the amazing focus and vasodilator pump formula.
Which one can you see the future?
This is the non-stim. This is just a great workout. This is a great workout, plus I can tell your fortune. You take about a half scoop of this, and I'm going to get a good day's work. Your mind is crystal clear, which is beautiful. And just both of them, a lot of energy. But the stim formula, a lot of energy. And the non-stim is just that really focused, dialed-in workout. Great vascularity, great pump, so you know you're pushing blood into the right areas.
Very cool.
Go
Go to globalformulas.com, order your supplement stack. Want to thank you, Global Formulas. They've been our sponsors for 2 years now of Primetime Muscle. Thank you so much for the support. Primetime Muscle, the most respected bodybuilding show. We don't gossip about the person's personality. We talk about the deep diving of what it is in bodybuilding.
And we're happy to have you with us.
It's always a pleasure. I had a great time with you guys, and I'm looking forward to coming back.
Tarek Elgindi, always.
Thank you.
All right, I'm Tim Wilkins. Like, subscribe, share with your friends so we can keep growing Primetime Muscle and the sport of bodybuilding. From the NPC to the IFBB Pro League, all the way, we are the road to the Olympia right here on this show. We'll see you on the next Primetime Muscle.